go when I get my, there we go. All right, we're good. So first I wanted to congratulate you on your new record, Closer to the Flame. I mean, it really has that classic Riot sound, and I really think it's a great hard rock record.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. Now, how long have you been working on this record?
Uh, that past year, during the pandemic, right in the heart of it,
Right.
it was kind of unusual to record in that under those conditions. It was a first.
Right. Now, did you do stuff like everybody in their own separate studios?
Yeah, at our homes, I'd work out demos and send it out to the band, and everybody worked on their parts at home. And once in a blue moon, we get together and kept our distance and tried to work stuff out. So it was a very unusual recording process.
I bet. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to make it a 2 CD set with one disc being original material and the other one being re-recordings of classic Riot songs?
Originally started out when guitarist and I started the project. People wanted to hear, okay, you have two guys from the original Riot, what do they sound like? And so it was initially done as a 6-song EP, just to let people hear, oh, these guys still have it,
Mhm.
So that's initially why we did it, to show that, hey, we said we have a pretty good band here, so that's initially how it started. Then it worked its way into a 12-song EP. The record company had requested that, and it would be a treat for Riot fans to hear the old tunes updated with better sonics.
Right.
So that was the whole concept of that, of the bonus CD.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it is a bonus to hear those old classic songs, especially if, younger people that maybe don't know the older stuff and they hear some of the new stuff. They're like, oh, wow, this is where you came from.
Yeah. Yeah. So old fans and new fans. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So the first two singles that you guys did videos for, Wanted and Stand or Fall, I think are fantastic. I mean, they really kick off the album. Do you have a favorite track on the new CD?
Yeah, Wanted is probably my favorite so far. It's I don't listen to it a lot. It's recorded and it's like I put it, shelve it for a while. Then I'll even though it's not even released yet, it's about to be released.
Right.
15th. I don't listen to it for a while. Then I put it on and see which songs hit me. Wanted always struck me as the song that showed the spirit of the band. That's why we released it as our first single.
Sure.
Just had the drive, the energy, and the vibe of what I wanted Riot Act to be. I like Smoking Gun and Angelina. There's a few that I like. Yeah, sure. I'm fairly proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely, as you should be. Actually, for sure. Yeah. So looking back on your career a little bit, who were some of your musical influences growing up?
I would have to say it started with the Beatles, which I think every artist I think goes back to the Beatles for some reason. You always hear interviews. It's like, yes, I heard the Beatles, I saw the Beatles or whatever. But when I was a kid, a mere tyke, my mom took me to see A Hard Day's Night in the movie theater when it first came out. So at 65, and being at a theater with screaming girls, it was like, what is this? It was the craziest thing ever, and I was just watching these four guys, and wow, But I didn't pick up an instrument until many years later, so maybe that initial exposure to those four guys struck something in me, and later on it was bands like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin. Bands, yeah, it's like Cream. I was into Cream very. I got into the guitar-driven stuff. So those were probably the earliest influences.
Okay. And that's my next question. What made you decide to pick up the guitar as opposed to like the drums or the bass?
Um, Drums have too many pieces. You know, you have to look around toms and hardware and stuff. Now, the guitar, there was just something about it. Just watching the guys that I grew up listening to, and just the way they handled the guitar, and just the sounds that came out of it. It was just for me. It was just for
Sure.
me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, who was the first band that you actually saw live in concert, and how did that impact you,
The
if you can
first
recall?
band.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I actually saw Grand Funk Railroad.
Mm,
Grand Funk. Real. That's a real long time ago. Um, in New York City. And I was really really young. I don't even know how parents let me go to that. But I went there with a friend of mine, and it was just it was just such an overwhelming experience.
mm.
Being in a crowd with just bands that were out of control, and just seeing watching those guys play and listening to the reaction of the crowd, and the whole experience just blew me away. It was just like, wow, this is the coolest thing on earth to do this.
Absolutely. So, and then when did you join your first band? Obviously before Riot, I'm sure you bumped around.
The cover band, I was probably 18 or 19.
Okay.
And, at that period, you start, you get really serious about it, and just kind of honing in on what you want to do. And I played in a few cover bands, one or two cover bands really. And then I became friends with the guys from Riot because they lived in my neighborhood. So I
Okay.
gradually shifted into that area from a cover band into the Riot situation, because it was all original. And that's
Right.
really what I wanted to do.
Sure. Yeah, that was my next question was, Riot was already established. They had two albums under their belt. And then, then you come along, how did you ended up joining the band? Was it because you had a relationship from the neighborhood or?
Yeah. I became friends with Mark because the band lived, they were based, the guitarist Mark was literally around the corner from me.
Okay.
In my neighborhood. And how I first came to meet him, I was either riding my bike or walking. It was music blasting, like a band blasting music from this house. And it was just like, and it was loud. And I just stopped there. What's going on here? Those people congregate out there. And then I finally met around a meeting Mark, and becoming friends with him. And I would go over there every day. And I was just became very close with him, and we just talked music. And from that point on, I watched Riot evolve
Mm.
from, because they started as a cover band and went into originals. And after the first album, Lou Cavaris had left the band, and I came in on the second album, Narita. So when they needed another guitar player, it was like I was the obvious choice because I was right there. I knew the material, so I fell into it. So it was perfect.
Nice. And you guys, already being kind of established, you get to open up for some pretty big bands. What was it like touring with AC/DC? And do you have any memories of Bon Scott?
Oh yeah, I always loved AC/DC, and when we first found out we were touring with them, it was a thrill, because I always liked Angus guitar playing. I thought he was a great guitar player, and always loved Highway to Hell. I just always loved listening to Bon Scott sing that song, and it was a thrill to play with them. They were cool, ordinary guys, down to earth guys, and that was very exciting. And tour to be on that tour with them was a cool experience.
Yeah, very good. Now, and it seems that almost every rock band, the third album is like the big breakthrough album, and it was for Riot with the Fire Down Under. Now that album, to me, it fit perfectly with the other rock bands of the time. How could the label come out and call it commercially unacceptable when it was, I mean, you guys had the songs on that album. It's fantastic.
I guess it was commercially unacceptable to them. They were looking for a single, I guess, and there was another song that we had written for the album, which was more of a commercial tune, and they wanted to go with that, but it was a little left of what the band was really about. So we just stayed on our course, and we ended up going from Capitol to Elektra. It was a big fiasco, but that album, everything came together, writing wise, member wise, with the band. It was just like everything just gelled, and it's just, I guess, one of those things where the timing, the right combination of people, and what we were going after just all came together at that point, and that's how we just turned out the way it did, and it obviously made an impact on the metal community, the early wave of metal. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Oh,
was
for
really
sure.
cool. But
Did you guys were you guys headlining at that point, or were you still an opening act?
no, we were still open. We toured with Sabbath, Rainbow.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a Rush. Quite so many big bands. We do in between the big shows. We do some small dates where we headline, but we were right at the cusp of becoming headliners.
Right. Yeah, and then from what I was just a kid at the time. I think I was like 12 or 13. And then the lead singer, I mean, finished the tour, and then he called it quits. Is that what
Yeah, the
happened?
Rush tour. Yeah, so the band has had a lot of hard luck, and so we were at that point touring with Rush during the Moving Pictures tour. We had Fire Down Under. The band was smoking hot at that time, and you know, not a good time to lose your lead singer.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the sound of the band. So we had a rough period there, which we had to come up with a replacement, and we weren't going to find someone who sounded like Guy, and we just looked for somebody that would work with our writing style. And Rhett came along, and we did Restless Speed with Rhett, and I like that album. And it's difficult when you have a new lead singer. It changes the sound of the band, and it's, you either go on. What can you do? You lost your singer, so you either pack it up or you just move on. But a lot of fans like that period with Rhett too. There's fans of both periods, Guy
Sure.
period, Rhett period. But I thought Restless Speed was a good album, and yeah, that's what we did.
Right. Absolutely. And then, so you were in the band for a few more years. And then was it a mutual agreement, you leaving the band kind of, thing? And then what did you do afterwards?
Yeah, just kind of my enthusiasm was waning. The direction was changing. We weren't on Elektra Records anymore. It just started to go downhill. And there was so much frustration with the band, so much bad luck and things going wrong for us, and it was just like, wow, I think probably one of the reasons Guy probably left, and you sort of get disillusioned with everything, all the work we put into it, and how things just went off course. And I put together another band for a number of years, constantly playing, doing stuff, but never thinking, okay, hey, we had a shot with Riot and that was it. But it never leaves you. I always continue writing, and I was sort of, one day I'm gonna hook up with some guys and whatever, but something will happen. You always have that hope that something will just come alive one day. And years later, a few years ago, we were inducted to Heavy Metal Hall of History, and it was like kind of a surprise. And Lou and I went to the ceremony in California, and you start realizing, you know, that the Riot influenced a lot of the newer metal bands, and it was kind of nice that they inducted us into this metal hall of history, and being acknowledged at least. So that's how this whole started. Lou would call me and say, "Hey, Rick, you know, maybe we should do something. You know, maybe it's about time we do something." That's how this whole Riot Act project started. It just started, just sort of happened, really, you know, and it always had the desire to get out and play. And when Lou and I got together, we played some the old tunes. It just, wow, it sounds so good, you know. And I had a lot of ideas in me and stuff I wanted to get out there. And another unfortunate incident, Lou passed away at the beginning of this whole project from COVID. And so that was another devastating setback.
Sure. It's like,
for months. Yeah, it was just like, wow. And we just got up and said, hey, we have to do this. You know, there's good chemistry with the band. We have a lot of good songs and ideas, and we just started writing the album during the whole pandemic period, and it just started to come together. Songs just started coming out. I had so many ideas, and everybody was just so into playing and wanted to keep it going and do it for ourselves and do it for Lou, and Closer to the Flame came out of it. So we're really proud of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, sometimes it takes a tragedy and you're going to get some great art out of that. And I think you guys did. I think you hit the nail right on the head with this record. I really enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So talking about the band, is there any plans for you guys to tour the States anytime this year? I know you got some European book date later on, but.
Yeah. First in England in August, September, but dates I think are happening in September and October in the States.
Oh, good.
And probably towards the end of the year, more at the beginning of the year too. So all of this is in the works right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be in the States, there's no doubt. I think by the end of this year, we'll be in the States. So I'm excited about that. Oh. Yeah, we're really excited about playing. We haven't played in 2 years.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, being from Cleveland, again, we're a great, hard rock metal city.
Cleveland rocks is Ian Hunter would say.
Absolutely. Do you have any memories of playing in Cleveland, or maybe even staying at Swingo's if you happen to be there at the time?
Yeah, we played Cleveland. Was the Agora?
Absolutely. The old Agora.
Yeah. It was great. Great town.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to play there again. I mean, it's such a rock and roll city.
Yeah. We're still doing it. The Agora, well, the old one burnt down, but there's still a newer one that they built, still 40 years ago. But the Agora's still there, man. We would love to see you guys come out.
I would love to play there again. So
yeah, that would be coming full circle, man. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I tell you what, Rick, I do appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best on this new record. I'm gonna tell all our readers about it, and let you know that hey, Riot Act is back, and you're sounding great for sure.
Oh, thanks, Greg. Really appreciate that. Look forward to playing and the release of the record. And people want to check us out, go to riotactband.com. Keeps you up to date on what we're up to.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. All right. Well, once again, I wish you nothing but the best. I know it's coming out here soon. I'm sure you're excited. And when you come to the States, make sure you hit Cleveland. We would love to see you.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, man. You take care.
All right, you too, man.
All right, see ya.